we implemented like airplane technology into our New York City apartments.
Well, like chairs. It's called a Murphy bed.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, lots of people have those.
I don't. They're expensive. They're like $8,000, $10,000.
What? No, they're not.
Yes, they are. There's 2 Murphy board stores because I almost got one here because little TMI. When I first opened this up, right, I was living in Greenwich and I couldn't make the 11:15 train or whatever it was, the late night train in time to get to Greenwich to get enough sleep to get back. So I would sleep right there on an Aero mattress. On an Aero mattress. I'd be self-conscious the whole time. Every sound would wake me up and I'd be like fucking rodent.
This place is haunted.
You know what is haunted is my apartment. Like actually.
Really?
Like actually haunted. I was sitting there by myself just chilling, on my sofa. And 4 times in a row, I saw a shadow walk behind me towards the bathroom.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it didn't feel bad.
Okay, you
know what I'm saying?
Good ghosties.
Yeah, I've lived with good ghosts. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know if it's me or something, or if it's they feel comfortable enough with me. I don't know. I'm speculating, but
say that's your guardian angel.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
It's my
Feel a shadow behind you. That's good.
really
I've had a couple
my angel stays in the dark.
I've had a couple incidences where I swear I had someone saying my name.
Whoa!
And I'm like
close by.
Yeah, like I heard someone very clearly say Meriel, and I was like,
whoa.
But then I Googled it, and apparently that can just happen sometimes. It's like a psychological phenomenon.
No way. Really? Your brain
so.
just hears your name?
Yeah.
Huh. What is that called?
But
Schizophrenia?
Maybe. It was in like it was in a silent place though. Like no one was around.
I honestly thought
in my room.
When you first stuttered, I thought you were going to say it was in an asylum. It was in an asylum place.
No, I was just in my room and I just heard someone say Meriel. And I was like, huh, what? Who?
You'd be like, will you shut up? I'm trying to meditate. I'm just kidding. They'd be like, sorry. This is God. God, chill, please.
Chill, bro.
Chill. I'm Buddhist now, Lord.
No.
No?
No, I'm not Buddhist.
I know.
No, I like Buddhism.
I was role-playing.
I like Buddhism.
Yeah, it was a fictional situation.
Okay.
Welcome back to Broken Spoken, guys. We're in episode 13.
No, that's bad.
Is it?
Does that mean we're going to have a shit episode?
Oh, and we're talking about ghosts. Whoa. What is the most comfortable you would be around a ghost? Like, where's the line to where if they do something, I gotta turn this off. Where's the line where if they were to do a particular something, you're officially freaked out? Does it touch you? Is it
anything? I don't want, because if there's a ghost in your apartment, they see everything. They see you in the shower.
But do they though? Is that how they work? How do you think they work?
Has anyone ever seen a ghost in the shower?
In the shower?
Like they're just showering and a ghost appears? Because it's always late at night and it's always some person in like a white nightie being creepy.
While you're showering? Like The Grudge?
No one's just like cooking in their kitchen or having a shower and like a ghost just pops their head around the curtain,
Oh my God, that would freak me out. I would die.
Saying,
I would
though.
slip and like.
That's what I'm saying. Like when there's a ghost in your house, they see everything, don't they?
I don't know if it's like that. Honestly, I think it's
You're hooking up with someone and the ghost is just watching from around the corner. Like
you know what?
Terrifying.
Oh my God, that'd be so scary.
Right?
I would freak out. I would absolutely freak out. No, I think it's like they get pockets of energy, and then it almost like overlaps our 2 worlds. I don't really know if it's them physically present all the time. I think it's more like the gates kind of open and you're exposed to something. You know what I mean? And there's no like interaction because a lot of it is just strange coincidence. Someone walking by or like a whisper.
I was talking to my coworker about this because I'm in the theater we're working in at the moment. I'm like, it's definitely haunted, right?
Yeah.
It's just an old theater.
They usually are.
Yeah, right? And she was saying how she feels like every inch of New York must be haunted because of how many people have lived here and died here and the history. She has a point.
She has a point. And I think that kind of is part of the collective psychology of a place, right? If it's old, you feel it.
Wow.
So what is it you're feeling? Is it the energy of the brick, right? Is it the energy of the wood? Like this building is over 100 years old.
Right.
Very old. I think it started in
It cracks me
1880.
up that you look at this building and it's 100 years old and you go, very old. Because in England, that's like nothing. The house I grew up in was like 150 years old.
That's crazy.
The school I went to was 1,000 years old. We had a 1,000-year wall as part of the school.
I've been really
So it's funny to me that everyone's like, oh, this building's been around since the 50s. It's so old. I'm like, okay, have fun with that.
but it makes me want to go to like even older things, like I want to go to Rome really badly.
Have you ever been?
I've never been.
Rome's awesome.
You know how much I love ancient Rome.
Yeah, I went to a Roman brothel, like an ancient. It wasn't functioning anymore. It was like an ancient brothel that you could like go in and see where it used to be a brothel.
And
nothing. They had mosaics on the walls with like pictures of what you could have ordered.
like ordered, like as in people to come in.
As in like different positions and different
No
acts,
way.
and like mosaics on the wall.
You can order it.
So you could have, well, not now. This is
Well,
ancient
yeah.
Rome. You could have been like, that one looks fun.
You'd be
And
like,
I guess someone takes you and takes you.
Skitari, number 40. And they're like, number 40, number 40. And it's like,
They weren't speaking Italian, they're speaking Roman, but yeah.
right. Yeah.
Be like, salve puello novella.
Spen venevectus
Yes, exactly.
beresod la for. Yes, Domino.
Yeah.
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 There's that new show, Domina.
What's that?
It's one Roman show I haven't seen. I've basically seen every
You've
single
seen
Roman.
Rome, right?
Oh my God, how many times?
Yeah.
Rome was the first Game of Thrones.
It was the original like HBO high budget.
Yeah, it was the biggest budget of all time. All the actors from Rome are in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And it's the
Not all
same
of them,
casting
but a lot of
director.
them. Yeah, Stephen
all of
Gold,
them, but
yeah.
basically all the important ones, right? Except the main character though. Titus Pullo and Mark Venus, I think maybe was his name. I could be wrong about that. The two main Roman guys.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah. It was a good series.
God, it was so good. I wish it was fleshed out more. They always start Roman stories late in ancient Rome, but early Rome was the sickest shit because they were all pirates. They were all crooks and criminals, and they didn't have a city. And then two brothers decided
Romulus
to start
and
one.
Remus.
Exactly. And you know how they got women? This is a crazy story. They needed population, right? So they throw a fake party.
They
throw a
kidnap
fake.
the women.
They throw a fake party, and they have everyone come to their town, and then they murdered all the men and kept the women.
Well, that doesn't sound very nice.
And that's how really marriage was founded as property.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's crazy, right?
Nope.
They called it the rape of the Sabine women. It's a very famous painting.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's how they got started. Isn't that the craziest shit?
history's fucked up, man.
History's fucked up. And they were all like barbarians and insane and had no morals until one guy, I'm going to be so mad I forget his name, and he founded the religion of Rome and had everyone turn to starting to become like extremely religious and ritualistic. And that was the thing that saved Rome. Because everyone was just a bunch of insane, murdering, thieving lowlifes.
Hooligans.
Yeah. But why not start there? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an amazing story. Amazing story.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parts of history they haven't televised yet, which would be interesting.
What would you like to see that has been completely untouched?
Like Julius Caesar hasn't been, we talked about this before, Julius Caesar's story hasn't really been done well in a film.
Yeah.
Or recently, I should say. What else? There's other parts of history.
You know the guy who played Highlander?
Highlander?
Yeah, you know the movie Highlander, the Scottish guy who played Highlander? Okay, well, he was in this Rome movie where it was Caesar versus the barbarian king named Vercingetorix. This guy is such a fucking badass. No one knows who he is, right? So ancient Rome was moving into France, just conquering everything in its path during the Caesar years, right? And everyone was their own little tribe. It was like Native America, right? There was no unity. It wasn't a single nation, except for one man, Vercingetorix, who unites the tribes and has these epic, huge battles against Rome. He's like a William Wallace kind of character, you know? Like, almost like a Luke Skywalker kind of character where he unites the rebels and has this enormous barbarian fight. That is an amazing story.
Actually, there is a story I just thought of I would love to see made into a movie or TV series.
What was that?
Do you know who Olive Oatman was?
Never heard of him.
It's a woman.
Oh.
So she and her family were traveling, I believe it was the Oregon Trail. They were traveling out west, and some Native American tribe, I can't remember who it was, like came across their family and basically like murdered everyone and kidnapped her and her sister.
Jeez.
And took her. And then I believe the first tribe that like took her treated her really badly, like her and her sister, basically like lived as slaves. And then they were sold to another tribe. And that tribe took them in as like family. And so she was a white woman, and she lived as this like Native American. She even got the traditional tattoos on her face.
Whoa.
There's a picture of her in traditional like 1800s outfits with the tattoos here on her chin. She got married, she had a kid. She lived her whole life. She was accepted into this family and lived her whole life like as a Native American, I think for about 8 years. And then eventually her brother found her and like brought her back to like, like Western people.
Whoa.
But she never really like acclimatized back. And then she started tattoos, so she became famous. It was a famous picture of her with these tattoos on her chin. And just her story is so interesting.
God, I wish I could meet her.
Right? And wouldn't that be such an amazing movie or TV series to
Oh my God.
hear about her life and what her journey, and the fact that she got the traditional tattoos shows that she was really like part of this world. Like she was accepted, she was married, she had a family, like lived her life completely absorbed into this world and then was taken out of it again.
What do you think she's like? Do you think she's abnormal, or do you think that she's kind of collected the power of her experiences into?
Well, I'm sure it must have been traumatizing. Her family got killed and then she settled and then got taken out again. I would like to know if, I don't know enough about it. Like, I don't know if she ever really settled back into, you know, kind of like white society, or if she ever felt like she was part of it again, because she spent her formative years.
Right.
Because she was 14 when she was kidnapped. So she spent her formative years with this whole other world.
Right.
You know?
You know what's kind of weird when you pull out bird's eye view? Just how strange being civilized is. Right?
Did you hear my stomach just
Yeah,
rumble?
I did. Yeah, that was impressive.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need to eat.
But like being civilized is strange, right? Think about it. You live in a boxed home, right? You worry about what you wear. You have food delivered to you.
I do think sometimes humans are so weak in a weird way, because like we can't function without, you know, coffee, or some people can.
I can.
Without, you know, clothes, without heating. And other animals just live like in the dirt and they're fine.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we're like, we need microwaves and food to be cooked, and dentists and vaccines,
Dentists,
and homes.
Dentists
blankets.
you definitely need. Yeah.
I haven't been to the dentist in a while, actually. It's bad.
Yeah.
I need to go.
I haven't gone in 7 months. So.
I haven't gone in like a year and a half.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, because when the pandemic happened, I just didn't go, and now I'm out of the habit. I need to find a new dentist.
10
10
years?
years?
Marvin.
Wow. Do you have any tooth pain? No. Yeah, I've never, knock on wood.
What is this shit? He doesn't age. He doesn't have tooth pain.
It's amazing. Knock on wood, I've never had a cavity. Yeah,
Really?
Never had a cavity.
definitely have a
and I
cavity.
feel like I have one now because I haven't been to the dentist in a while.
The amount of
I'm
wine-
kind of scared to go.
The amount of wine I had during the pandemic, I definitely have a cavity. at
Really?
this point.
The amount of coffee I drink, but coffee doesn't give you cavities, does it?
Well, if you have sugar in it,
I don't.
you don't.
Yeah.
Marvin does.
But I think it is genetic. I think some people's spit is cavity resistant. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Some people's
had it.
mouths are just stronger, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Speaking of brothels,
Right.
But it's so weird, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I belong in this time. You ever feel like that?
You definitely don't feel like that. But I was thinking that too, because I always have this feeling like, oh, I belong in a different time. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, because I need the medication.
Yeah, that's all like good.
It's like good, but like,
You know?
but like,
Is that how it said it? It is good. You know, it's useful. But, you know, there's other shit too, right?
yeah. But I was thinking back in my childhood, like things that I don't think I'd be alive if I hadn't lived in this time. Just some dumb shit. Like I had tonsillitis really bad as a kid. Several
Right.
times I had to get my tonsils taken out.
Yeah.
I think if I'd at some point, maybe that would have killed me. I don't know. I've been on antibiotics several times in my life. If I hadn't had that, who knows what would have happened.
Here's a crazy question. Do you think that the death of our species is like connected to that in a way, right? Where it's like the weak aren't being killed off? Because think about it. If you had tonsillitis, hear me out.
Vicious thought.
Yeah.
Sunday morning is like, do you think if people just died when they're weak, we'll be in a better place?
Yeah. Do you? It's basically the question.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like it's one of those hypotheticals that we don't know.
Okay.
I had a weird incident yesterday. I was taking the train for work and we got to a station and it just stopped and the doors didn't open, which happens quite a lot. I didn't think much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the conductor comes on after about 10 minutes of us sitting there and says, someone's jumped in front of this train. So we have to shut this line down and evacuate.
Oh,
I know. And then they kept all the doors locked on the subway carts and the NYPD came and like unlocked each cart individually and let us out. They
so
won
you
by
wouldn't
one.
see it.
I don't think it was that. I think it was more they were just trying to keep an eye, like empty the train systematically so they can make sure the train was completely empty.
Right.
They got us all off the train. And then I from the way the police were reacting, it definitely seemed like someone had jumped rather than been pushed. Because if someone's pushed, they have to try and find like the assailant, right? They have to
Right.
try and in this case, they were pretty calm. Like they were being very like organized and getting everything done, but they weren't chasing anyone down and like, you know. So, and then it took us all out and we were on the platform. And And then we had to wait there for a bit, and then another train came in on the other line and picked us up.
Wow. How many times do you think they've seen that?
There was a documentary that got big in the UK for a while, and I haven't seen it, but it was talking about people who jump in front of the tube in London, the subway in London, and how the effect it has on the drivers.
Yeah.
Because they see it, right? And like what it's been like for the people who witnessed that going forward.
Do you think that's why there isn't a cart in the front? Right? Because the drivers are usually in the middle of the train.
No, the driver's in the front.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My driver's on the C line is in the middle.
There's not
two?
drivers. There's not the drivers. There's a driver at the front, and then periodically between there's MTA workers in certain carriages.
So that's why they
help
always
manage like the train, help manage the doors, that kind of stuff.
That makes sense. That would really mess me up.
Do you know what I didn't realize though? And I saw this on TikTok. You know when you're on the train, there's like a button that says press to speak to the conductor. I didn't know those worked.
Did you do it?
No, the TikTok, some guy was pressing and he was like, this train is too slow, hurry the fuck up. And the driver was like, I can't go any faster. And he was like arguing with the driver through it. And I didn't realize those even worked, that you could do that. You could talk to the driver. I don't encourage you to do it because it's probably going to mess up the train lines, but.
No, that's a great podcast.
Huh?
Did he think that was going to work?
I didn't know. I guess he did because he's done it before, but the looks of it, he was just like pressing and be like, what's going on, dude? This train is too slow. Like he was arguing with the driver. I didn't know those even worked. I thought they were just,
That's amazing.
one of those things. Yeah, decoration.
You think that'd be a good podcast?
What, fucking around people on the train? Let's not do that.
No.
What?
I mean, maybe. But, the button. Like you press the button and you have a conversation with the driver.
That poor driver doesn't want to talk to you. Apparently half the time they ignore you if it's like a non-important question.
What is going on with our mic stands here? They're starting to break.
You're all right?
They're starting to break.
I have to burp. Hold on.
Wow. That was
Sorry.
nice.
Been having a lot of coffee.
We got all that on audio.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to amplify it so that it's
Just
concussive
ricochets around
force.
the room.
Oh, what else happened this week? Oh, the Batman. How good does this movie look?
I'm so excited. I haven't seen it yet.
My God, I cannot wait. It's finally the Batman that I wanted.
It's the emo Batman we've all wanted for.
Yes.
It's the crying in the bathroom Batman that we've all wanted for.
Batman doesn't cry.
Of course he does. He's a man.
He doesn't cry at all.
Does he do the Batman voice like Christian Bale does?
I don't think anyone.
That kind of voice. Whatever it is.
Rachel.
Yeah. Where's Rachel?
Where are the drugs going?
My friend and I, Ariana, every now and again we'll just look at each other and go, where's Rachel? Just to keep us on our toes.
I think Colin Farrell might pull the Oscar on this.
Colin Farrell's in it?
He's the Penguin.
No.
He's the Penguin in prosthetics.
My first word ever as a baby was Batman.
Really?
I know, isn't that cute? My brother used to watch the old Adam West movies. And
oh, you went from the beginning.
Yeah. He used when he's the bomb and he's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah,
and
and he's like,
turns
where do I go,
one way.
Robin?
Yes.
Robin's like,
and there's he turns one way, there's a nun, and the other way is like a baby ducklings, and the other way is like a group of children, and he can't get rid of the bomb.
and he chooses the children, and he walks away, and it's just savage. Thug life music.
Which Batman movie is it where he kisses someone? And he goes, but the thing is, I have rubber lips.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
pulls off his
Oh, my
lips.
God. Yes,
seen
that
this?
was Poison Ivy.
He kisses Poison Ivy, and she's like, I've poisoned you. And he's like, no, you haven't. I have rubber lips. And he like peels off his lips.
Yeah, that was Batman Forever, right? That was
that was
Batman Forever. Or no, it was Batman and Robin. Because Robin and Batman both fell for
Poison
Ivy.
Yeah.
And that was the
Which
whole
is so
story.
funny because Robin is clearly gay.
Right? Right.
Baba was just like,
But, even if he is, which he is, they still do him dirty, right?
they give him the shittiest outfit. He basically wears underpants and a lycra suit. Like nothing's cool about his outfit.
Like Robin could be one of the coolest superheroes.
How old is Robin supposed to be?
Very young. Like he gets pulled in at 18, I think.
Okay.
Or even younger, maybe 16. And so he kind of protects him like a kid. Teaches him everything he knows.
Marvin's shaking his finger.
That's not true?
13.
Shut up.
13?
He's 13?
According to the DC Comics.
Oh my goodness.
That's really young.
He's a kid.
Wow.
He's a kid.
And when does he go off to become the Joker?
Robin becomes the Joker?
Yeah.
What? That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Isn't
No, he doesn't.
Isn't it?
No, Robin's Batman's psychic.
Right. But I thought there was a DC universe where he becomes the Joker. No?
I mean, I love that storyline for him, but I don't think
Like
that's
he breaks
true.
off and he becomes a new superhero name. I forget the name. And then he eventually starts killing people. Right?
He becomes a different Joker.
Right.
Oh, there's more than one Joker?
not the Heath Ledger.
Right, the Joker. Not the Joker. He becomes...
Right.
I used to like the Riddler. They should bring him back.
They did in this movie.
He's in this one too?
Yeah.
I have to see this movie.
And
He
it's
was my
Paul
favorite.
Dano.
He was my favorite in the old ones. Yeah.
The Riddler is so good, right?
So
because,
good.
like from a storytelling perspective, how good is the Riddler?
Yeah, it's great.
Right? Like you can have all these amazing twists. Basically, imagine Seven, the movie Seven,
Yeah.
with Batman. That's how I would see Riddler.
That's why I was when the first Batman Begins, which I loved. I didn't love that it was the Scarecrow because to me he's always been kind of like a boring baddie. I get it; he's the most realistic to put into the world we have,
Yeah.
right? Because things like the Penguin and the Riddler can be really hard. They can be so
They need a lot of time.
cartoonish. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can be so cartoonish. They don't quite fit.
I think that's why he chose it. I think he chose to do the Scarecrow because it ties into the origin story of Batman, right? The origin story of Batman is him overcoming his fear.
Yeah.
And who's his first, a bad guy? Is a masked character, doesn't need too much depth.
Yeah.
Who's all about
He was
fear.
played by Cillian Murphy. He was I'm so excited. I can't even get the words out. I have to blow my nose. I watched the first episode of the new season of Peaky
How did you
Blinders.
watch it? Can you?
I'll send you the
Fuck.
link. Yeah.
I was looking at VPNs and I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't
I
know how to
have-
do
I
this.
have- oh, I have
By the
a-
way, we're
that's-
sponsored by NordVPN.
No, we're not, but I
know.
do use
We
VPNs.
should be.
I use VPNs, and that's how I watch it. I'll send you a link that you don't need a VPN for, but don't share it around because I'll take it down. Maybe I shouldn't say this. I don't know. It's illegal. Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders.
It's come out in the UK and it hasn't come out in America yet, but I use VPNs for a lot of my British shows.
How was the first episode?
Oh, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Right.
Yeah. It was good.
Thank you.
But my roommate started watching Peaky Blinders, which is so fun. So
What does she think about
she
Peaky Blinders?
loves it. I came home one day
Right.
and she was watching, and I was like, "You're watching Peaky Blinders?" She goes, "It's amazing." She's powered through like 3 seasons so far.
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. And sometimes she'll ask me questions like, "Oh, is this gonna happen?" And I just have to look at her like this,
Deadpan, and it's your best Thomas Shelby. You just
to that face. And then she texted
ruin
me
it.
the other day, and she was like, I mean, spoilers if you haven't watched it, but you should have. She goes, "I knew Grace was gonna die," and I was like, "All right, calm down."
that was
It'll be
so
okay."
sad.
It was so sad.
I felt so bad for him. And when he's trying to like get his work done and his desk is all like messy and he can't button up his top button.
I need to, honestly, after watching the first episode of season 5, season 6.
Oh, the
right?
one we're on now is 6.
Yeah, so after watching the first episode of season 6, I realized I have to go back and watch season 4 and 5 because I have no fucking clue what's
I just
happening.
rewatched it.
I'm forgetting so much.
So was it good though?
Yeah, it was really good. Oh, fuck. Really good.
Because here's my worry is that he's
Really
getting
good.
too watered down.
No. He,
It escalates?
real character development, he changes a lot, but it's really good.
Oh my
You'll
gosh.
love it.
I'm so
You'll love
excited.
it. Yeah, you'll love it. It's great.
You got to send me that way to
Send you
do
the
it
link. Yeah,
legally.
yeah. Legally.
Because that's all we
With
do.
a VPN. Legally.
Yes, legally, as in the right, because we
Through
support.
BBC iPlayer. No scammy.
Yeah, I went on there and they're like, "Oh, mate, you can't fucking watch this. You ain't from London."
You ain't from London. No, it's another great show that I used to use VPNs for all the time. Okay, I swear it's called Dating Naked. I believe that's the name of it. Have you heard of this show?
No.
Okay, this show is insane. So they get
Marvin's face.
This is so British, right? Because we have all these kind of shows. For some reason, we're really into nudity. They show a lot of nudity on British TV. Yeah. After 9 p.m., it's called Watershed, right? And on UK television, past 9 p.m., pretty much anything goes on TV. So you can have full nudity and it's not a problem.
Wow.
Post 9 p.m., no.
But nothing pornographic, but you can do nudity.
Nothing pornographic, but full nudity is fine, right? So this show is called, I believe it's called Dating Naked or like Naked Dating. You can look it up. It's on ITV. And they have a guy or a girl stand in the middle with this host. And this host, by the way, is like really explicit but hilarious. And then around them, they have 4 or 5 people of whatever they're attracted to, so like male or women, right? And they're in this booth. And at first,
Isn't it Naked Attraction?
Naked Attraction, that's it, thank you. So the first thing that happens is
Dating naked is.
he goes, the host goes, "All right, we're going to show you their feet." And they lift the panels up so you see the person's feet.
What?
And then the person picking has to eliminate someone. And then they go further and they go up so you just see like full like bottom half nude. And they eliminate someone from that. And then they go further to like chest height. And they eliminate someone from that. I swear, and they're all butt naked, right? Like butt naked. And then the host is so funny. She's like, "Oh, look at the willy on this one. What do you think of that one?" Like that's how she talks. And then in between, because it's British and they try and make it like sound clever,
Right.
they'll have like little facts You know, they'll be like 95% of men aren't circumcised in the UK, and like a little fact guide, you know, and like it's very normal for women to have this, and like a fact guide to try and make it like wholesome, you know.
Right.
And then anyway, they get to their head, and then they get to they eliminate someone else, and then they show their full body.
Oh, they don't go chin first, lips,
No,
nose?
they show the whole head, and then they get to answer a question, and then if they get two people, right, they pick two people they want to choose between, two butt naked people. And then the person picking goes out and comes back butt naked too.
Oh, whoa.
And picks one person then. And then they go on a date.
How often do they pick the same person?
No. One person's picking.
Oh, one person's picking.
The other people are just naked.
Oh,
and then
nice.
they get to go on a date. And that's the show. It's so interesting. It's
really
wild.
Is it
we should watch
productive?
it. No, I'm sure no one ever like falls in love. But it's just like from a weird standpoint.
Has anyone like pulled up and they just have like a reverse penis?
Not that
You
I
know,
know
like a
of.
penis that goes inside.
No, but it's all different body. What?
Like, I don't know. Yeah, like, is it like a micro penis?
You mean a vagina?
That one.
No, but there's all different body types, different shapes, different this, different that. Like it's really diverse.
I want to hear the weird. I want to hear the extreme.
There's nothing that extreme because they're also
Then
different.
why watch the show? I want to see extremes. You know what I'm
What
saying?
is extreme though when it comes to a naked body?
There's a lot of extremes, right? There could be like vaginas with like incredibly loose lips. There could be like tiny penises.
That's not extreme though. That's just bodies.
Yeah, but that's.
It's not really extreme. People have big penises. People have small penises.
Well, I know that.
People have
but,
big vulvas. People have small vulvas.
Yeah.
It's all the range.
Right.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Anyway, it's fascinating
Isn't
to
it
watch.
crazy that we finance shows like this and you can't build
honestly,
roads?
It's so honestly, it's so interesting to watch. And then it's amazed that people do this. And
Yeah.
it's all kinds of people that sign up. It's like teachers, doctors, construction workers,
One's
nurses.
like a nun and she's like just the sexiest body ever.
There was a woman who works for the church that did it once.
Really?
She was a organ player for the
She
Church
doesn't
of
work for
England.
the church anymore.
No, she does. Church of England's very chill.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that. Oh, right, because Church of England is the Protestant.
Yeah, they're very chill.
Mm.
Anyway, it's so interesting, and it amazes me that people sign up for this, but they do, and it's honestly, I highly recommend watching it if you can find it online because it's fascinating. It is fascinating.
What's the highest ranked British show? Is it Sherlock?
No,
That's not the most. Or Doctor Who, maybe.
Doctor Who is probably the most watched.
The most watched
I don't know.
ever.
Maybe could you look that up, Marvin? The most watched British show.
I'm gonna guess Top Gear, number 1.
Maybe that was big for a
Doctor Who, number 2. Sherlock, number 3.
while. I don't know if Sherlock was.
Not that big over there.
It was big,
Right.
but I don't know if it had like the widespread appeal that stuff like Doctor Who and Sherlock has.
And Top Gear. I mean, Top Gear
When
was
I was
international.
growing up, Big Brother was a big deal. Like everyone watched Big Brother.
Big Brother. Yeah, yeah.
There
No,
were channels.
none of them.
No, it's giving it by year.
Oh, there's not
Most watched British show of all time.
Well, it's saying that the show that was most watched was MASH. But that can't
Oh, MASH is that was
that's
the most watched
American,
show of all
though,
time.
isn't it?
That's American.
Yeah.
MASH has been the most. The finale of MASH, I believe, still has the most views of any other show.
I never watched it.
You've never
ever.
watched MASH?
I don't even know what it's about.
It's
It's about like people who got injured, right? And they go to a doctor's office.
No.
In war.
it's about the MASH stands for Mobile Army Surgical Hospital,
Right.
and it's about the mobile surgical hospital in the Korean War.
Oh, Korean War.
This one MASH unit.
So it wasn't World War II.
No, it's the Korean War, and it is my favorite show of all time.
What?
It's incredible.
Really?
It starts off, the development of the show is amazing. So it's a comedy, right?
Yeah.
And it starts
It's
off.
a sitcom.
This,
right?
kind of a sitcom. I mean, there's like it's not on a sound.
Kind of like Fresh Prince, where they have
It's
some
like-
dramatic elements. and
Yes, it's on live locations though. It wasn't
Right.
filmed on like a sound stage.
stuff. Oh, okay.
So on the first season, they really fought not to have a soundtrack, like a laugh track for it. Sorry, because they didn't want to be kind of minimizing war. But then the studio was like, no, this show is going to get too heavy. Like we have to put a laugh track
Oh,
on it.
wow.
So the first few seasons, really funny. Like it's a hilarious show, and the acting's great and the writing's great. So the first few seasons are really funny, and then once they got the following, the studio gave them more freedom, and you get these episodes. They took off the laugh track around season 3 or 4, and you get these episodes that are hilarious, and these episodes that will literally break your heart.
Wow.
Like it's a beautiful show.
How many seasons?
11.
11. How many seasons did
It
Simpsons
ran
do?
longer than the actual Korean War did. Because the Korean War, I think, was like 4 years.
Yeah.
But the characters are amazing. I honestly, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. I think it's on Hulu.
I'll definitely start watching it.
It's phenomenal.
The Simpsons has, what, 23?
33 seasons? Wow.
You know, I was looking up, you know, like sometimes on your algorithm, you get Simpsons predictions.
You get topless guys? Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, no. Well, now we have to, because now there's got to be context.
Alexander, at one point, for some reason, his Instagram was only showing him like topless thirst traps of like men in the gym for a while.
Yeah. When you first join Reels and you follow fitness accounts, apparently that's what you get. Anyway, it's been resolved. So, anyway, Simpsons, 33 seasons. My algorithm brought up when The Simpsons predicts things.
Some of them are so true, like Donald Trump being president. That was predicted on The
The
Simpsons.
scariest was Lady Gaga on the ropes during the Super Bowl. Did you see that?
That
Her
was a
exact
Simpsons
outfit.
prediction? No.
Her exact outfit flying down on wire.
That's my favorite part of the Super
For
Bowl.
the Super Bowl.
When she flies and she does this with her hands and she like comes down. It's so
How the
great.
fuck do you predict that?
The Simpsons predict a lot of things. Is it The Simpsons predicting things, or is it people watching The Simpsons getting inspired? Like, do you think
No.
Trump saw that clip of The Simpsons?
You got to
and
look
was
this
like,
one up.
That sounds really good.
No, this is like exactly how it happened.
Wow.
That was, you know, some of them are kind of like, you know, like they just try to make another comparison to what's happening in Ukraine. But let's be honest, we all knew Russia was going to do something eventually. So
Yeah.
like that doesn't really count. But this one is Lady Gaga during the Super Bowl halftime show in her silver thing flying down on ropes. to
That's
perform.
wild.
Crazy.
That's wild.
It's like, does he have a crystal ball? Like, how do you know to do this 6 years before it happens? It's fucking weird.
I think what it is Simpsons like reaches the extremes of things. They go out of the box and think of things no one would ever think of.
Yeah.
In that sense, they do things that feel unrealistic in a way. So then when they do happen, you know what I mean? Like a Simpsons thinks outside the box.
They definitely do that.
Right. And I think then when people are outside the box, we're like,
Do you think it's a little bit of like the creative inspiration mystery, right? Where it's like if you're really tuned in to something creatively and you're really tuned in, you get inspirational drop-ins.
like divine downloads.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had that.
Really?
A divine download. I don't know. Maybe.
You
I've never
definitely
had
have.
like a eureka moment that I'm aware of.
Really? There's
I
never
think-
been like a moment of godliness?
Yeah,
you've
but
experienced?
yeah, but it wasn't like an idea. It was more spiritual.
I remember one time I was in this church and it wasn't like it was more like a sanctuary than a church, right?
Sanctuary. What movie is that from? I claim sanctuary.
Pirates of the Caribbean? No, that's Parlay. Parlay.
It's from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, right. I declare sanctuary, and they're like, "No, you're too ugly. You die."
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that what happens?
No.
He's like, "I need sanctuary." They're like, "Oh my God, get
He's
out!"
ringing the bells and he's going, sanctuary. I claim sanctuary. Anyway, carry on.
Oh yeah.
right.
That's great.
Okay.
He dies though, right?
In the original, yes. In the Disney one, he doesn't.
Sorry, he dies.
Spoilers.
What were we talking about? Sanctuaries. Yeah. So I'm
We're
in
in
a
a sanctuary.
I'm in a sanctuary, and it was so quiet. It was so quiet that the noise of quiet became deafening. And I was in this like weird bubble. I don't know if they're designed to do that, to where you can hear a pin drop, but you could hear silence.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation like that?
Sound of silence.
Right.
Yeah.
And the sound of silence becomes so noisy, it's almost deafening. You never had that happen?
No, I haven't.
That was like a very strange
Maybe
thing.
I'm not very introspective. I don't know.
What? Yes, you are.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've had that where sound is.
You should climb to the top of a church, ring some bells, and claim
I
sanctuary.
have climbed to the top of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. That's really cool.
How'd you do that? Legally?
There's a staircase, yeah.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. You just go up the staircase.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a lot of steps. They warn you before you go up. They're like, by the way, this is this many steps to get up there. Like, just so you know before you start climbing.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
There was a church in Brooklyn that was getting renovated, and so I would hop on a scaffolding and climb to the tallest
you
peak.
didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah, I did it all the time. I did that in college. We called it Copenhagen. Anytime we were drunk, I would walk right up to my buddies and I'd grab them and I'd be like, Copenhagen.
And then you start climbing scaffolding.
We would drop what we're doing and we would go like break into factories or, you know, climb like, because our theater building was actually an all women's college. And it was where Alexei Kosygin and Lyndon B. Johnson had their USSR, United States presidential meet, was at my university at this building. So there's a lot of interesting things with this building. It was called Bunce Hall in Rowan University. And there was all these secret chambers where women would sneak in men to drink. And so you would have old Budweiser cans from like the 50s.
Oh, that's fun.
Just like in circles in these attic spaces throughout this building. And so we would always break in late at night and like try to slip through and climb up on the roofs and scale the tiles and get to like the church bell and like overlook all of Rowan. And I stole the blueprints. I still have them. So I have, because you go down to the basement and there'd be a tunnel. You just
like incriminated yourself.
Yeah, it's okay. They're not going to do shit.
All right.
There's all these old records in the basement where people had their old grades and things like that, so we could look through from like 1952.
So speaking of old records, I just got from my doctor's office from my childhood, my old medical records, because I have to send them to my new doctor.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Have you ever looked back on all your old medical records?
No, it's like, seriously needs help. Please.
Some of them were so, most of them were just like vaccine, records, but some of them was like injured toe, injured ankle. So one of them was like, I think I was like 7. It was like undiagnosed rash. I'm like, what was that? I don't remember any of this. Another one was I was reading them to my friend and we were laughing because some of them was so funny, like my old medical stuff. Because all the stuff you go to as a kid, like sore throat, banged the elbow,
right,
stubbed toe, like all the weird shit you go to.
Mine's probably weird, like. Pencil was found half an inch into lead.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like
eraser found an ear, like all this weird
slight
stuff.
Gash over the eye from playing too hard with army toys.
Exactly. It was just a lot of like bangs and boo-boos,
Right.
It was like broken toe possible,
You've broken a bone, right?
I've broken 2 bones.
Where'd you break? Your hip?
Just to say, and then my wrist.
And your wrist. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
And I possibly might have cracked a kneecap at one point, but we're still not sure. Oh, I was on a crutch for a bit.
Sounds so bad.
But they never, if it was like a hairline, they never really decided what was going on. But I might have broken my kneecap. I broke my thumb at one point too, but I don't know if fingers and toes count because they break pretty easily.
They break really easily. I'm sure I've broken mine a few times in football.
Yeah.
It just happens.
I broke a thumb playing hockey.
I didn't know you played hockey.
I mean, we had to in school.
It was like school hockey.
Yeah.
What was your best sport?
Like 11.
What was your best PE sport?
When I was 14, my sport in high school was yoga, and it was great because we had this teacher.
Hold on.
We had this teacher called Sharon, and she taught like this. And we would go to the gymnasium, and she would put on her little headset. And on Tuesday, she didn't want to teach, so she just did meditation. So we'd all get yoga mats, and we just lie down, and she'd be like, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Think of a place so you're very comfortable. And she did that for like an hour, and then we'd roll up our mats, and then we go home. It was great.
That's an amazing character.
So yoga.
You need to make that character.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
We used to call her Shazza.
Shazza.
We were like, Shazza's on the microphone again. She had a little headset that she would do it with.
Should we role play right now? Shazza, I'll be the yoga person. You be the Shazza.
All right, everyone, grab your mats, lie down.
Yeah, which way do we face it up?
We're meditating, lie down. That's the she actually talked.
So,
quiet, we're meditating. All right, breathe in, breathe out. Think of a place where you feel comfy.
Home.
And then she would just be silent for like the next hour. And then she'd be like, all right, we're done. Go home.
That's fantastic. That's a great character, by the way. We should definitely do a skit on that.
Shazza, the meditation teacher.
Yeah, the meditation teacher.
I did some fun sports. I did rock climbing. I was actually pretty good at rock climbing when I was younger.
What school? What?
I went to a weird school.
These are so weird.
Yeah, I went to a weird school.
We had European handball.
Okay, well, that's weird.
Is that?
I played squash. I love squash.
You never played European handball?
What's European handball?
Oh my gosh. Marvin, do you know this?
Yeah. No.
Maybe I'm weird. European handball is basically you have 2 small goals across a gymnasium floor. And you have almost like the size of a cantaloupe, this rubber ball, right? You can palm it, but you can really throw it. So it's almost like a dodgeball size, right? And you can dribble 3 times and run 2 times.
Why is it called?
And it's soccer with your feet.
But why is it called European handball? I don't know if
because it's an Olympic sport.
What?
Yeah, I know. That's what I said when they first told me about it.
I was thinking this during the Winter Olympics. Where do people learn curling?
That's a fantastic
question. You know what I mean? Like no school that I know of offers curling.
It's probably a private school thing, right? It's probably
I don't know. I feel like that's such a weird sport that like no one curling. Like who does that?
If you had to compete in the Olympics, what would you be your
like what would I actually be good at, or what do I think sounds fun?
No matter what, you'll take gold. What are you doing?
Probably the ice skating looks cool. I always think that looks really cool.
Oh.
That or the synchronized swimming kind of looks fun.
Synchronized swimming.
Doesn't that look fun? When they're like,
I mean, it's fun to watch.
they dive. I think it's.
But can you imagine practicing that?
No, the girl I used to nanny did synchronized swimming, and they made it look so easy. She was young; she was like 9 or 10, and they would do all this stuff in the pool, and it looked so simple. And the next time I went on vacation, I was like, "Oh, I'll try it," because I'd hear all the stuff they were told to do and stuff.
Yeah.
And I tried, and I just sank straight to the bottom of the pool. It's so hard. It's so hard.
I think I would do water polo, maybe.
That's hard because you have to tread
Or
water.
polo, probably be more
on
fun.
a horse. That'd be
on
kind
a
of
horse
fun,
would be
right?
fun.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I was gonna say fencing. I actually really like fencing.
I've tried fencing before. It is fun.
What'd you use? Did you use the rapier?
I don't know.
or
I
did
just
you
tried
use-
it once.
Yeah,
It was a bendy sword.
that was a bendy one. I think that's
Whatever it was.
starts with an F, right?
Fencing. Yes.
No.
starts with an F.
Foil. That's what it's
Oh,
called.
maybe.
The
Yeah.
foil.
Whatever it was good.
Yeah,
I wasn't very good at it though.
got it. Still got it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't very sporty in school. I was more involved in like the drama and the arts. I did dance, but
Did you do synchronized dance? Did you do
That's
like
just dance.
flag? Were you-
oh, I did do rhythmic. I did do.
It's just dance.
I did rhythmic gymnastics for a bit.
Rhythmic?
With the flags and the balls and stuff.
You mean
That was
rhythmic?
fun. Rhythmic gym.
Rhythmic.
Rhythmic.
Not rhythmic.
Rhythmic.
No.
It's not rhythm. It's rhythmic.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Yeah, not in the United States.
I think it's rhythmic in the UK as well.
We got to look this up. I'm pretty sure it's rhythmic.
Rhythmic.
Rhythmic. Yeah, I'm trying to say that British. That just
I'm
sounds
gonna
like
look this up.
like
I think
being
it's
a jerk.
rhythmic.
Rhythmic. What is going on? I swear.
How do you spell rhythmic?
Rhythm.
Yeah, there's an E in it. Rhythmic.
No.
No, it's not. You're right.
Rhythmic. Right? I could be wrong.
No, it's 2 syllables.
Rhythmic. Yeah. So anyway, you were dancing?
So I've been saying it wrong my whole life. It's rhythmic, not rhythmic.
Yeah.
Rhythmic.
So you were dancing.
I'm so confused. I did
Meriel just shut down. He was like, "Beep, beep, boop, boop."
I did rhythmic gym for a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Which is?
You know that sport where you have like the ribbons and then the balls,
Yes.
and then you do like forward rolls and catch the ball.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it.
That
Old
kind of
school.
stuff. Yeah, that's fun. I like that.
Old school.
That's
You know
pretty
that
good
movie
into it.
Old School?
No.
When Will Ferrell does his whole synchronized, you have to do
That's
events.
called rhythmic gym. Rhythmic.
God, you did that?
I did that. Yeah,
You did ribbon?
I did ribbon. It's actually.
do I have to call to get a
harder
clip?
of me doing? I was like little. I was like 9.
You got to ask your parents to send you a clip
They
if you're doing that.
They don't have a clip of that. I asked my parents the other day. I was like, "Have I ever had strep?" My mum was like, "I don't know." Like I was like, "You're my mother," and she was like, "I was like, what was I on? Ever on antibiotics as a child?" She goes, "Maybe. I don't know." And I was like, "Do you not know anything like about?" So there's no way she'd have a video of me doing rhythmic gym because she forgot.
What if that's the one thing
she forgot the name
has?
of my high school at one point. She still gets mad at this when I bring it up because I bring it up when I'm annoyed at her. That she forgot the name of my high school. she's like, I had it almost right. I was like, you called my high school the wrong name. Like,
What does she call it?
so my school is called the King's School, Canterbury, right? She said I went to King's College, which is a completely different school on the other side of London.
She just wants to say you went to college.
Well, no, King's College is the name of a school, but it's a boys' school on the west end of London, not
okay.
the King's School, Canterbury, in Canterbury. The point is, she forgot the name of my high school, and I'm still bitter about it.
Have you forgiven her?
Yeah. No, I have, but she wouldn't know if I did rhythmic gym
Right.
because she.
Are there positions? Like, is there like a point guard? I said porn guard. Point
no, it's
guard.
not. It's not a like a team sport. You're not throwing things to each other.
It's a solo.
Yeah,
It's
solo
not
thing.
team sport.
You can do it in teams, but it's not a team. It's like gymnastics. You don't have like.
Do you get down on all fours before it begins and then like with a gunshot start?
And like run.
Yeah, but like you run to the center, like really proud, like a pony,
Oh, you come in.
like
You're
holding
like
your ribbon.
just.
I have questions. I need these answered.
Okay, so what sports did you do?
Soccer, football, boxing, usually.
All right. Boxing.
Whoa.
Okay. Did you do that with the gloves or barefisted knuckle fighting?
You do it with gloves.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Did you do wrestling? Did you wear the unitard?
No, I couldn't get past that.
You couldn't put the unitard on?
I couldn't get past that. I was interested in it though.
Yeah.
I really thought about doing it because it's very inexpensive.
Okay.
Also,
I
right?
did. Oh, I did judo.
You did
I
judo?
did judo for a long time.
What?
Yeah, but I was so bad at it. But my instructor, I think he really liked me because I was tiny as a kid. I was really short, really small. And I think he kind of felt sorry for me. So he did like, I got pretty high. I got to like a green belt.
Do you know any throws? Could
Yeah.
you do one right now?
Not safely.
Oh,
But I remember how to do
right,
it.
because with your
Do you
hip.
want me to show you?
Sure.
Can we do that on the camera, or is that going to be boring for people to listen to? I'll show you just from here. So you grab like here. You face me.
Okay.
You grab the gi.
Okay.
And you grab the side.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then you use your leg and you hook
And you
it
throw,
under.
yeah. Okay, yeah. It's very similar to, that's a judo throw. That makes sense.
Yeah. Did judo for a while.
I've done that before, I think. With a gi.
With the gi.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool what you can do with that.
My judo instructor's name was Mr. Joe.
You know what the thing
so
I
nice.
couldn't understand though?
But I was weak. I couldn't throw anyone. I did competitions even. I did like public competitions, and you wouldn't eat before the competition because they would weigh you. And if you can get in a lower weight category, that's better for you, right?
You can beat up on smaller people.
Right, but I was the smaller person. I was always the smallest person, and I was just thrown straight away.
It's so crazy how UFC fighters do that. There was a major fight last night. They cut like 10, 12 pounds, maybe more.
Water weight. Yeah. We never did it that extreme. I mean, we were kids, but people do that. They dehydrate.
It's so crazy. Have you ever seen a wrestler do that where they put on the hoodie and they put on the wetsuit, they put a trash bag over themselves so that the moisture doesn't leave, and then they run.
Ew.
And they melt themselves down.
That's what Hugh Jackman did for Les Mis when he was filming that scene where he was the prisoner.
Yeah.
He didn't drink water for several days, so his skin went all dry and he looked like he was a prisoner. He was all dehydrated.
He did look like a prisoner.
Yeah.
How good is that scene,
He
though?
dehydrated himself.
He's
for it.
so good.
He's a wonderful actor.
Right?
Les Mis, for me, was a disappointing film,
Yeah.
but his acting was great.
He might honestly be in the top 15 best actors ever.
Hugh
Because
Jackman?
because he kind of connects the whole old school Hollywood music man thing, right? With modern day acting.
Yeah, he's a
How
very
many
talented.
people can do that?
He does stage, he does Broadway, he does...
Right. What do you think is his
camera.
best movie he's done?
I know it's typical, but I just think he's fantastic as Wolverine.
He's amazing.
Like the perfect casting as Wolverine.
I kind of wish they had different stories though. Because Wolverine was alive during the Colonial Wars, right?
He was?
Wasn't he? Yeah, I know he was alive during World War II.
He was?
Yeah.
How old
He
is
fought
Wolverine?
he fought in the beaches. He's like 300 years old.
What?
Yeah.
I thought he was just like a normal dude in his 30s.
No,
40s.
he's like 300 years old.
Wolverine's 300 years old?
Look this up. Yeah. Remember in the first movie, Professor Xavier is like, he's older than I am.
I haven't seen those movies in so long.
He was born in 1892.
Shut the front door. Are you serious? Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
so
I
he
didn't know
fought in World
Wolverine
War
was,
II.
was older.
So it's like him killing Nazis.
Wow.
Can you imagine that as a movie with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine?
Yeah.
Yo.
That's wild.
Who do you think should be the next Wolverine, though? Because you know they're going to continue it. They have to. There's too much story there. Right?
I don't know. I can't think of anyone right now who fits the bill. I would love it. I love when they bring in new people. Like when these big major movies bring in kind of like unknown names.
Yeah.
I think that's really special.
Liev Schreiber was a great Sabretooth. He could have been Wolverine.
He was great as Sabretooth.
You know, because he's kind of got the mutton chops beard, like naturally.
Yeah.
You know? It'd be a good
Great
one.
at. He would be good in that.
Yeah. That's such a good story. He's one of the best superheroes ever.
Wolverine?
Wolverine and Batman are my two favorites.
Me too. Well, Batman, Wolverine, and then who else do I love? Those are probably two of my close favorites, actually. Batman's my number one for sure.
Do you have a female favorite?
I don't know many female
Well, you have
superheroes.
Scarlet Witch. You have
I like
Black
Rogue.
Widow.
I love Rogue.
Rogue.
I always love, and I love Shadow Kitty as well.
Shadow Kitty. Fuck, I
love
forgot
Shadow
about
Kitty as
her.
a kid. I used to watch all the X-Men Evolution.
What about
cartoons.
Jubilee?
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, she shot
I watched.
bubbles.
I watched all the X-Men Evolution cartoons as a kid.
Me too. They're
So
the
Shadow
best.
Kitty and
Nightcrawler
Rogue
were like
was-
always.
yeah.
Shadow Kitty,
Rogue.
Nightcrawler, you know what I mean? He would just pop up in a room.
Rogue, I loved. I don't
Rogue?
know. There's not as
Rogue.
many superhero films. I really love when Wonder Woman came out because it felt very empowering to watch a woman
I felt
be that
empowered.
strong.
watching
And then
it.
you see why men have such an ego because they just see videos of like movies of themselves being portrayed as heroes constantly. They're like, oh, I get it now. I get why they're so arrogant. It's because they see this all the time.
Shots fired. We're gonna break this down. You don't mean all men. You're saying on the extreme side.
Just I meant like men as a blanket space.
Really?
Are very-
You think?
And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just think in society, men tend to be more empowered than women.
Well, we're talking ego, right?
Well, yes, ego, but empowerment too.
Yeah, I think maybe
I'm not
we've
saying
turned a
men are
corner.
like arrogant and all men are,
No, I know that.
egotistical. I'm
Yeah.
just saying in the sense that like
Men do have egos. I know what you mean. There is
It's
this
just
kind of
not-
like a sports ego thing,
There
right?
is,
Where it's
and
like,
it's-
I could run faster than that.
It's
Like, why
society-
didn't he throw the ball? Like, you serious?
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, we do in general like stoke men's ego in society more than we do women's. If you look at the Hollywood movies right now, right, something like 90%, like a huge number. Marvin, can you look this up? Most of the roles are for men. If you look up roles, Hollywood roles, they're all for men. There's a test. I can't remember the name of it. It begins with a B. And it's basically a test for movies to see how equal they are to females. And the categories are so slim. It's like the female characters have to have names. There has to be like at least 2 named female characters or something like this. And then 2 named female characters have to have a conversation with each other at some point during the film. And very few movies pass that test.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Two female
Two female
characters have
characters
a
with names
conversation.
have to have a conversation at some point during the film. And to
Wow.
pass this test. And
I'd be curious to see those numbers, right? Because
very few
I'm
movies
kind of
pass it.
clocking movies while she's saying this.
yeah.
And there might be something
Because
there.
often you have a movie, right? And there's a strong female character in it.
But it's
But
female,
that-
male.
Exactly.
Right.
There's a test, it begins with a B.
But there's nothing wrong with that, though.
There's nothing wrong with that per se, but for female actors,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there is, you know.
Yeah. I think you might be right. I'm
I
like
don't
trying to think.
I'm not saying that a movie's wrong for having strong male characters at all. No, I think that's great, but
Right.
there should be ones for females too.
Yeah. I think we have turned a corner, though,
I hope so. I mean,
with
if you
most of what the statements you're making.
Yeah,
But
if-
historically, you're 100%
and
right.
a lot of movies still don't pass that test even nowadays.
Right.
TV
Yeah.
shows, movies.
Speaking of passing tests,
Mm-hmm.
you know that whole Cowboy Bebop show? Did you watch this, Marvin?
No. Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So it got canceled, right?
Yes, I heard that, but I hadn't seen it.
And so, there's a lot of rumors. It's not rumors, but, it's more of having a conversation. Now, I hate having conversations about the R word, because it's very easy to put that on something. But they were talking about how, Asian actors are just in the market discriminated against.
Wait, the R word, racism?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, they're saying that
'Cause
like
that's not what the
America
R
isn't
word
ready
is.
for like strong Asian characters, and
Okay.
Cowboy Bebop is the example as to why.
Oh, but what about? I mean, obviously, this sounds silly saying like, what about Squid Game? Because that's one example, but people reacted really well to that show.
Well, Korean cinema is amazing.
Yeah, Korean cinema is incredible.
Like it's better than ours.
Oh, it's amazing
Right now. I'm
And the
not-
acting the thing for me
Yeah.
in Squid Game, the acting was like,
but
top
they
notch.
actually like do
and
good
the,
stories.
and the sets and the storyline. I just thought it was such a
There
great
was
show.
there was one show where, oh my gosh, this is such a good movie, where a guy is in, I think, Thailand, Asian man in Thailand visiting, right? But I think he was like an American Asian or something, right? Because he wasn't from there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he falls asleep in the pool, right? He falls asleep in a pool and the water goes down to where he can't jump out of the pool,
And he's
right?
stuck.
And he's stuck
Oh,
with an
oh,
alligator in
No, I
there.
don't like that. That sounds horrible.
And so the whole story is almost like him trying to claw his way out of the pool
nah.
against this alligator. And so he slips down into the sewers. Like, how original of a story is that?
sounds-
When have we ever had an original story?
That sounds horrific.
It sounds
My
really
idea of,
tense.
That sounds like my idea of a hell.
There was another one where there's some construction worker, he dies and he goes to heaven, and it's like him trying to be judged in his afterlife. But it's very off. You know, like Korean cinema is very kind of off. And I appreciate that because it's hitting like new conversations.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas American cinema now is just constantly repetitive.
Yeah.
And so, I look at that and I'm like, hell yeah. I think what they're doing in filmmaking is incredibly innovative. Right? But how many Asian-centric movies do we have
This
here
is
that like aren't actually kind of racist?
You know it's not a lot because of the fact that
Four?
when things like Squid Game become big, when things like what was that movie that with the P that became big, the Korean one that won all the Oscars?
Oh yeah, where it's like the rich and famous one. It's like The Great Gatsby.
No, Parasite.
Oh,
Yeah.
Parasite.
The
Oh, yeah,
reason,
duh.
the reason those movies
Duh, duh,
make
duh.
such a big splash is because there's not many of them in our market. There's tons in Korea, but
You might be right.
they don't come over a lot, and
Right.
that's why they make such a big splash because there's still not enough.
Do you think that Hollywood is intentionally moving us towards Korean cinema as opposed to Chinese?
I've never thought of that. I've
Right.
no clue.
Because China has such a stranglehold on Hollywood right now. It's insane.
I do have a question for you that's not related to any of this, but you talked about the person falling asleep in the pool. Have you ever fallen asleep in the bathtub before?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Great. You can't do that in New York, though. I don't like taking baths in New
I don't
York.
really have a bathtub in New York.
Yeah, I do, but
step in
it's kinda,
bath. It's not. I love
it's
baths.
kind of gross.
Yeah, and you have roommates and stuff, and I just think about people pee in the shower, and I don't like that.
Yes.
Yeah, grosses me out.
But yeah, you know, what's his name? The Peacemaker actor, John Cena.
Yeah.
You know that
didn't he have to apologize to China because he says something?
Did you hear
wrong?
about this, Marvin? He called Taiwan a nation.
Yeah, and then he had to.
And then China demanded his apology.
Right.
So he went on camera and in Mandarin apologized to China.
Yeah.
Not to a person.
To China.
Not to an organization. To China. Because he said Taiwan was a nation.
Yeah.
That's how strong of a stranglehold they have in Hollywood. Right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't even acknowledge a free country anymore. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
It's wild.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me so mad. Like, the shit that goes on over there is so terrible. And we just are okay with it. And fucking John Cena, this is for you. You're a pussy. How could you do that? Shame on you. Shame on you. But then you have the Buster Keaton of China, who I think is probably one of the coolest people ever. The Charlie Chaplin of China, Jackie Chan.
Oh, I love
And we
Jackie
do not
Chan.
give him enough credit for the shit that he does.
I love Jackie
He
Chan.
like runs that shit.
I used to watch the Jackie Chan cartoons.
Oh, yes.
Uncle Jackie.
Uncle Jackie.
I used
Oh,
to
my
love those
gosh.
cartoons.
And
as a kid.
what did they have to get? They had to get the talisman, right?
Yes, and it was him and his niece. And yeah.
And every time he got a talisman, he got a new power.
Did you remember this, Marvin? The Jackie Chan cartoon?
Oh, it's the best.
I was a big Jackie Chan
Jackie
fan.
Chan
My brother and I-
Adventures?
Yes, Jackie Chan Adventures.
Right, okay.
Or The Adventures of Jackie Chan.
That's probably that. Yeah.
And I used to watch like Shanghai Nights, Shanghai Noon.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Jackie Chan as a kid. I loved
Rush
his
Hour,
stuff.
obviously.
Rush Hour.
But I liked his original stuff.
I haven't seen his original.
Like his original movies. Okay, see if I can remember. One starts with the Sue. I think it's super bad, but not super bad. It's something like that.
Definitely not super bad.
Help me look this up. Because I'm gonna butcher these names. It's gonna fucking kill me. When he was so young, like 20 years old, only in Chinese,
I don't know.
and it came over to America and it just swept the country because his stunts were so good.
Oh, he's such
He
a
did
good
this whole
stuntman.
thing with a ladder. Like he fought in a ladder.
Alexander dropped his coffee.
He would fight in a ladder and just be jumping in between the rungs.
That
and
was
then
in
flipping
Shanghai Nights or Shanghai Noon, wasn't it? He did that.
You're showing this for us? These are his movies? Okay, great. So we
That was
have
Shanghai Night, Shanghai Noon. He was doing the ladder thing.
Stranger from Hong Kong. I've seen that.
I haven't seen those.
Enter the Dragon? Oh, right. He was a stuntman. 1969. I got to go up. No, it's going to be. Oh, sorry. Go down. 80s. Here we go. Okay, here we go. This is going to be it. Police Story. Amazing
I
movie.
haven't seen any of these.
All right. Twin Dragons. Are you kidding me? Twin Dragons. Drunken Master 2 was so good.
Drunken Master?
But I can't find the one that I'm thinking. Rumble in the Bronx is his
Why
most
does that
famous.
sound awful? Drunken Master.
The Shootout, Beauty, Police. Maybe I'm thinking Police Story. Thank you so much for that. He did a lot more movies than I thought.
He's had a huge career. He's had a really long career. Oh, look at him jumping the wires.
That's precision.
Good job,
Jackie
Mark.
Chan would be proud. That's some
Yeah.
serious athleticism.
All done.
Rhythmic gymnastics.
Yeah, you should do rhythmic gymnastics.
you think-
Rhythmic.
Rhythmic.
Fuck. It's like this. I've said that word my whole life wrong. It's really confusing.
Really?
Rhythmic.
Rhythmic. Also,
It sounds better as rhythmic.
can we change the conversation for something?
To what?
What happened to Ghislaine Maxwell trial?
Yeah, no one's talking about it.
What happened?
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine?
Ghislaine.
Who are these hundreds of important and influential people that have been going to the island?
Where is she? What is happening?
She's in prison. That's it. No names. No one has come forward.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm not into.
Are you kidding
I'm
me?
not into conspiracy theories, but something fucking weird is happening with Jeffrey Epstein. His number 2 was killed himself.
Hung himself, right?
I'm doing this with a little finger quotes.
You hear about this, Marvin?
You know Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. He was found dead in a cell, and the cameras weren't working, and the guards were asleep. The exact same thing happened to his number 2 a couple weeks ago.
In a maximum security prison.
That's because they found him. He hung himself.
And on top of
apparently.
that,
and the cameras weren't working
Yeah.
in the cell, and the guards weren't around. It's weird.
more importantly, a professional autopsy expert examined the body and found that the parts of the neck that were crushed and killed resembles murders more than it does
Because
suicides.
there's a way like your neck breaks when you
Right.
hang yourself, or like you know.
It's the angle.
Yeah.
It's not up like this. It's like more
It's
from behind.
weird. Yeah. I'm not really into conspiracy theories. I'm kind of like, all right, whatever. But this whole thing, it's fucking weird.
But how is it that people just forgot? You know what I mean? Like no one's
It's become
demanding.
a joke now. People are like, Epstein didn't kill himself. I'm like, yeah, and what's happening with it?
No one does. It's honestly,
Because
it's
you know
the
what it
most
is? There's
awful
not a lot
thing.
we can do. Like people were demanding it, but like we're powerless in this situation. What
And
can
so
we do?
what? Everything is fine now because World War III happened, right?
It's
So
John
it's like
something, Jean-Luc something, I think his name was, the number 2.
Jean-Luc Picard,
No.
Star Trek.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, no conversation of who went there, right? Who do we know has gone there? 0 people.
Can you imagine if they look at the records and like my name is all over it? I spent my summers at Epstein Island and you didn't
Is there
know.
something you need to tell us? You're like, I thought we were vacationing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It just looked like a nice place to
Right.
stay.
I thought it was King's Island, not King. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Trying to make a joke there. But yeah, no follow-up, right? No information. Like, I want to know who went. I want to know, do we know these
Marvin
people?
is like down in the rabbit hole right now of Epstein. Your face tells me everything. You're like, what is going on?
A big
Weird.
part of Jeffrey
Weird.
Epstein is Victoria's Secret.
Well, it's Wexler.
Yeah, Wexler is one of his key financiers and bought him like one of the largest houses. I think he bought the most expensive residential property in the world. which
Sometimes
was
for fun
his place
on
in New York for free and just gave Epstein the keys. Wexler.
It's so weird.
What's going on there?
It's so weird.
Is Victoria's Secret like a front?
No, because Victoria's Secret was started by someone else and then bought by Wexler.
Why?
Because
To be a front?
No, to make millions of dollars. It used to be a huge business.
This is huge business. This is probably bigger business. This
Have you
business
heard the-
probably feeds
Wait,
Victoria's
have you heard
Secret.
the theory that mattress stores are fronts, are like money laundering schemes?
Why?
Because think how often you buy a mattress.
Right.
Once every 10 years, maybe.
Sure.
And think how many mattress stores there are. Not in New York so much, but when you go out to other parts of America, you can go around a corner and there's like 3 mattress stores on one corner. Who is going to these mattress stores?
Right.
There's never people in them. So there's this huge theory online. You can look it up at store conspiracy theory that these mattress stores are being used as like a front for money laundering.
What?
Yeah.
You know, there's kind of logic behind that, right?
There
Because
is.
as someone who understands commercial real estate,
Yeah.
I can answer this question.
Yeah.
It is insanely difficult to keep a lease.
Yes.
You hope to get locked in at 20 years or so
Yeah.
to be able to do shit like that.
Yeah.
But they're still around. All of these bodegas,
Yeah.
all of these like fake handbag stores.
Yeah.
How on earth are they making money? How on earth are they making money?
I don't know.
You know? And here's the thing is that if you have cash exchanges, how do you track it? Right? If I have, say, $8,000 of cash business, I have to claim it and I get taxed on it. But where did it come from? Right? There's no trail. Whereas if you use a card, I know exactly where the money's going to. Right? So if you are in a handbag store and you're dealing shit on the street and you take cash only, how much extra cash can you put into that business to hide it and just say, well, I just sold this number of handbags, right? I don't know. Something to think about, right? Because how on earth do they stay afloat?
This reminds me of, there used to be a bookstore in my neighborhood that was kind of like a neighborhood spot everyone would go to. It was very famous. And they shut down one day and people were writing all this stuff, like leaving notes on the walls, being like, shame on New York for raising the rent too much. Like, how dare this place get shut down? We're so heartbroken. This was like a staple of our community, blah, blah, blah. And then the owners of the building put a sign up one day that was like, hi, everyone. We're sorry this bookstore shut down. The truth is the book company hadn't paid their rent for the last year when we've been leasing them this thing. They hadn't been paying their rent. They lied to us in their agreement. And this is why the store shut down. And everyone got real quiet all of a sudden and was like taking down their notices
Happens
about
all
it.
the time.
Yeah.
You know how few people were paying rent during the pandemic? There's so few businesses.
I feel like I was an idiot or a sucker because I was paying rent the whole time. Should I have not been?
I paid rent because I had a 2-bedroom for $1,600.
Good.
It was amazing. But,
Yeah.
you know, at the time, and I found it through my own like real estate stuff, but
You had a big space too. It was big.
it was massive.
Yeah. It's nice.
But it was in a basement, but like not really.
No,
it was
'cause you
more
had
a ground
windows.
floor
It was
unit.
Ground floor, you had windows.
It was very bright and very clean, and I like constructed. I made it better. I renovated it kind of myself. So I had to go for personal reasons or whatever. But looking back on that, I paid rent because the family that survived with kids
Off your rent.
off of my
Yeah.
rent. And so, when we all became unemployed and shit, you're getting a check. And I was like, look, I'm going
Pay rent. Yeah.
to help you out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's good of you.
I'm here 24 hours a day almost. So this is the one thing that I really invest in.
Yeah.
I'm okay allocating money to this, making sure you're good.
Yeah.
And so I did that for them.
I paid rent because I'm scared and I don't mind. Yeah, that's about it. I
you
paid
could have
rent.
gotten away with it so bad.
No, I've been in my building for a long time and I don't want them to give them a reason not to re-sign me. So I'd rather just stay on good terms and pay my rent.
I kind of regret it though. I wish I just went down to Florida and like some shack and just rode out the pandemic.
Really?
Well, I almost had a job. I almost had a job for $250,000.
Well, you really fucked up then. Why didn't you?
I know. It was my fourth interview and it was over like 6 months. And I nearly got that. $250,000.
Wow.
Yep. So I was like, no, we're staying. I'm like, I'm not failing this opportunity.
Yeah.
Like we're staying. But, the pandemic, of course, shit changes.
The pandy wandy.
And it's over, by the way. Congratulations. Round of applause. Pandemic's over. Pandemic's over. The NFL is no longer, because this is all based around science. Okay, right? So, the NFL is no longer doing it.
NFL's a conspiracy theory. It's not real, it's fake. And the pandemic is over. Well done, everyone.
How fucking stupid is this? Would you just declare victory? Like, are you awake to it yet? Are you aware of how much the wool has been pulled over your eyes, people? I mean, for fuck's sake.
What, about the pandemic?
Yes.
Oh, shut up.
No, come on. All of a sudden, we can just declare victory, and now the NFL doesn't have to do COVID stipulations.
The pandemic isn't over. That's the point. It's so stupid.
Biden declared victory.
Look, this is what I feel about the pandemic. We have different views on this.
Yeah.
When people are saying shit like, 99.9% of people survive, I'm like, that means millions and millions and millions of people are still dying. We were doing what we could as a society to keep people healthy, to keep people like my mum, who's immunocompromised,
not according to Johns Hopkins,
to keep people
not according to Johns
safe,
Hopkins.
Right? I masked up, I sanitized my hands. Knock on wood, I have not had coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I was working the whole pandemic because I followed the rule. I wore my mask. I sanitized.
That's not
I
why.
made sure I was careful.
That's not why. You didn't get it.
Why didn't I get it then?
You didn't get it probably because you're healthy enough to beat it through, and then you didn't actually contract it.
Doesn't work that way.
Huh?
So why did you get it?
Yeah.
It's all probability. And I was messed up. I've
been in classes with people that had corona. I was teaching classes and a kid I'd found the next day had coronavirus. But because I stayed away, we distanced, and I was wearing my mask properly the whole time and not touching the outside and then touching my face, I didn't get it.
But here's
I'm not saying if you got coronavirus it's your fault. It's not. There are circumstances where it happened. But we were doing what we could as a society to keep the weakest people healthy, and that is our duty as a society.
This is where I completely disagree. So right now, a lot of articles are coming out, especially out of Johns Hopkins, a specific study which shows and details by data how significantly worse we treated ourselves from a health perspective because of these draconian lockdowns. I'm not saying COVID doesn't exist. I'm saying people were freaking out. Those percentages...
Of course we were freaking out. This is a virus we've never had before.
Right, but those percentages of deaths are fairly comparable to other diseases.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Then why is there a field morgue being built in Central Park? Why was there hospital ships being sent in? This virus was ripping through and killing people. Yes, people die from the flu, right? But this virus in particular, there's still long-term health complications. I have friends that have very severe long-term health complications.
People can't taste.
And they were very healthy individuals.
Yeah.
More complicated than that.
Right.
Not just they can't taste, like severe health complications
Right.
from COVID. This virus was unknown, right? It was different. It was a pandemic. It swept through the world, and it could be very serious for some people. And people had no idea.
I agree with everything you just said.
How it reacted to them. So we were doing what we could as a society to protect people, and that includes reducing the spread so the hospitals can manage. That includes keeping the people, like the kids that I teach, safe, right? So they wouldn't get sick. I had a kid she's 5 years old. She missed a month and a half of school because she got coronavirus and had complications.
Mm-hmm. I agree with everything you just said.
Right.
So everything you just said is rational.
Yes.
Then we have what our government did.
Like mask mandates?
More than that.
Which is
we
completely rational.
shut down the world.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. What are you talking about? We had almost every major nation was on lockdown.
Because we were trying to prevent the spread, Alexander.
There are still powers going on right now that were recently enacted that aren't going to be canceled.
We were trying to prevent the spread of this. No one knew what was going to happen with this pandemic. We were trying to prevent the spread.
So this is my official opinion. I understand the beginning being like, oh my God, we got to make sure. What is this? What are we studying? How deadly is this? What's happening? Makes total sense. But we are way beyond that, right? We're now in a world where people can lock up your finances because you disagree with a forced vaccination.
This is what I don't agree with, right? Okay.
So this is where government takes a legitimate opportunity and then ruins it for everyone else.
Look, do I think
that's what I'm saying?
Do I think there are aspects of this pandemic that have been mishandled? Absolutely, right? People were messy. The rules kept changing.
The numbers were skewed.
It has been difficult because the rules kept changing. You didn't know what you're doing right. But I also get angry when people minimize the pandemic, because so many people who minimize the pandemic lived in these empty neighborhoods where it didn't affect them. I stayed in New York the whole pandemic. I saw the field morgue being built in Central Park. I was there, like I saw.
I remember the bodies.
I saw the Comfort, the USS Comfort coming in. They were they were asking grocery stores to donate freezer trucks so they could hold dead bodies. Like I was in New York when that was happening.
Same
and
here, by the way.
I saw it all happening. Yeah. And when you see that kind of shit, when you see a giant freezer tent being built in Central Park to hold dead bodies, you treat the pandemic a little differently.
No, I agree with everything that you're saying, right? I agree with everything that you're saying. However, right? There are so many other factors to it. And this is such a significant moment in our life that it will never be cut perfectly to measure. It'll never be cut perfectly to measure.
What do you mean it'll never be cut perfectly to measure?
Like there's no perfect solution. It's always going to be messy.
There isn't a perfect solution.
I understand that. My concern, though, is what happens in the next decade, 2 decades because of this pandemic, not what we had to do during the pandemic. And when the decisions were made to help mitigate choices during the pandemic out of a sense of neighborly care to somebody, I respect that and I understand, right? Like, I'm not going to go see my old grandmother without a mask, right? I would want her to be vaccinated. But that's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about how all of these new laws came in for vaccines. We're going to be following these new laws.
Okay, these laws aren't new at all. There's been vaccine mandates.
Hold on. That's incorrect, because the difference between this vaccine are 2 things. Number one, they signed an indemnity. The most corrupt possible lobby in the U.S. government signed a document that they can't be sued by the United States citizenry. Okay. Number 2, it was developed in a year.
It wasn't. It was developed over 10 years. Actually.
No. The mRNA technology was being worked on, but that has nothing to do with the arrangement of vaccines. If you're making a new vaccine and it's slightly different, you still have to go through the FDA process.
Do you know?
Right?
So I have a friend that works with vaccines, right?
Okay.
And when these labs develop vaccines, most of the time, actually all the time, the labs don't communicate with each other because it's a financial thing, right? They want to be the first one to make the vaccine and make the most money.
That makes sense.
So they don't communicate. They keep that stuff secret. Because coronavirus was such a worldwide epidemic and so many people dying, they put in rules that the labs had to share their research information. So the labs, for the first time, were working together and sharing the information on the vaccine, which is one of the reasons why it's developed quickly. The vaccine has also, we've had coronavirus has been around for
years. But it's not the development.
This is COVID-19.
Though, Meriel, it's not just the development. To vet a vaccine isn't just how fast it's developed.
No, Alexander, right. I know this.
But that's what I'm saying. So that whole second point wasn't run through. Like, we didn't test it.
We did test it.
But it's not a conspiracy theory. It's the way FDA
government
works.
Put so much money into this vaccine to get that. The reason why it was expedited so quickly is we've been developing this vaccine for a long time. It had to be adapted, yes, but the actual the technology has been around for the last 10 years.
The technology, we have not been developing the vaccine for a long time. There's 2 very big distinctions there, right? mRNA is a type of science. The vaccine uses mRNA. We have to approve the vaccine.
It has been approved now. It's been FDA approved.
I understand that. It was rushed to be approved in a year and a half.
It was rushed because we were in a pandemic.
Right. Where most standards are over a multiple period of years so that they can accumulate data after the fact.
We have to wrap up, but I'm just saying I've had my vaccine for over a year now and I'm still waiting for all those weird side effects to kick in that everyone told me would happen.
I hope
I haven't grown an extra leg.
Yep.
My toes didn't fall off.
I hope it doesn't happen. There'll be a really
shit
sad
out my
day.
kidneys. I'm good. So.
No, it's not even like that. But it's okay. Like, we can have disagreements on it. The good news is that it seems like we're through and we're coming out on the other side, which I'm very excited, right? Kids are now able to go back to school and not have a mask on their face, which is awful.
It's
and
not
maybe
awful.
They'll be able to socialize
It gets me
and live a
annoyed when
normal
people
life.
talk about kids being in schools without setting foot in a school, because I've been working in a school the whole pandemic. So when these politicians talk about kids being masked in school and how awful it is, I'm like, you haven't been in a school.
Right. But there is something to be said about a kid wearing a mask, trying to make friends, and it's like weird to communicate. And
my kids have been fine.
Well, I think that would be weird for my kid. I wouldn't want my kid to have that on their face the whole time, but we got to do what we got to do in certain periods of history. I just think that it's, I'm glad that we're on our way through and, we're able to come out on the other side. So
hold my hand.
Hold your hand. Are you shaking?
All right. No. All right.
Kumbaya.
This has been Broken Spoken. Is that how we end?
Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Please leave some suggestions in the comments if you want us to start shooting in different locations. I'm thinking we can do some on the road stuff.
Ooh,
you know,
on
like
the
maybe
road again.
Oh yeah, like when it's spring, we should just set up in Central Park.
That'd be nice.
Right? What do you think, Marvin?
Mom was like, no.
Anyway, we'll talk about it.
No.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll check you out next week.
Bye.